Shalom. And foremost, I want to start out by giving all praise to Yahweh, Bashem Yahshua, Bashem Rakakadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles for the edification and knowledge, and to Wadi Yah Bashem Yahshua for putting the spirit of the elders and apostles so we can be edified regarding this truth and knowledge. Call Haliyah, Yah Bashem Yahshua, Bashem Rakakadash. Give all praise to Yahweh, Bashem Yahshua, Bashem Rakakadash. Isaiah 9:5. Isaiah 9:5. For every battle of the warrior is with confused noise, and garments rolled in blood. So that was the ancient days where men battled on the ground using swords, battle axes, and weapons of war, man, upon one another, man. And those garments rolled in blood is pretty much those weapons, those forms of weaponry hitting upon one another. They're our adversary, man. So, using those weapons, there would be blood on their garments, man, because they would be striking and attacking their foe, man. That was the ancient times, man. The movie 300, and pretty much days of that gladiator type, gladiator days, man, where men of war would battle one another, man. Let's continue on. But this shall be with burning fuel of fire. That's ultimately the nuclear missiles. That would be the next form of warfare, man. Read it again completely. For every battle of the warrior is with confused noise, and the garments roll in blood, the ancient ways of fighting, hand to hand with swords upon the adversary, but this shall be with burning fuel of fire. So the next one will be with burning fuel of fire, and that relates to the missiles, man. Let's go to Jeremiah 50:25. The Lord Yahweh have opened his armory and have brought forth the weapons of his indignation. So the weapons of his indignation ultimately is using these missiles, man, upon the adversary, man. For this is the work of the Lord, the God of hosts. Now the God of hosts relates to army. In the land of the Chaldeans. The Chaldeans represents Babylon, man, another code name for Babylon. And those his weapons of indignation are upon the Chaldeans in the land of Babylon, man, which would be here, aka America, man. Because that's who the Lord has indignation for, and indignation is a righteous anger, a form of a righteous anger, man. Go to Proverbs 29:1. And talking about the missiles, you have various verses, Revelations. I'll get that, Lord willing, to prove the point, because World War III is in the Bible as well. Let's get let's just get it real quick, just to prove it. Revelations 11 and 14. But I'll get Revelations 9 and 12. Revelations 9 and 12, Revelations 11 and 14. One woe is past, World War I. Behold, there come 2 woes more after, so 2 more woes, which means 2 more wars for destruction are going to come upon. So World War I, then ultimately 2 and 3 will come hereafter. Revelations 11 and 14. The second woe is past. Now the second woe is past, which is World War II. Behold, the third woe cometh quickly, and that's to come. And when it comes, it's going to come very quickly. That's World War III. Woe means destruction, for destruction. Give you another example. Isaiah 66. Isaiah 66 and 15 and 16 I'm going to read. Behold, the Lord will come with fire and with his chariots like a whirlwind to render his anger and render his anger with fury and his rebuke with flames of fire. Now the chariots are part of that judgment as well with the missiles. But ultimately the missiles would be part of that. Would be the major part of that. Because when the skies open up, you're going to see them chariots. And them chariots are going to ultimately execute judgment and also deliverance, man. 6 and 16. For by fire and in his sword will the Lord plead with all flesh. And that relates to his judgment upon all flesh. And the slain of the Lord shall be many. The slain of the Lord is going to be many. More are going to perish than be saved, man. So a Lord's going to pretty much execute judgment on a lot of people, man. And the slain of the Lord relating to judgment is going to be many. Courtesy of the chariots and ultimately courtesy of the missiles, man. Go to this is the nasty and the grimness of the Bible, man, that they don't speak on in these churches, man. And they should. Let's go to Proverbs 29 and 1. Let me go to that. He that being often reproved harden his neck. So one who's being corrected, being reproved and corrected, is going to harden his neck. So they're not going to take heed. They're not going to hearken to what's being through the correction. And that's 2/3 of our people, for example, shall suddenly be destroyed because they haven't hearkened to heed. They shall suddenly be destroyed, man. And that's 2/3 of our people specifically, man, because they regarding rebuke and correction, they harden their neck. And that's the nation of Israel. They always harden their neck, especially when the prophets, the messengers, speak upon them, man. So because of that, they're going to be destroyed, man, for not taking heed, man. They're going to know it by death by pain. We'll read 29 and 1. And he that being often reproved harden his neck shall suddenly be destroyed. For when they say peace and safety, sudden destruction come upon them. And that without remedy. So without no remedy, man. That remedy goes to a form of medicine, man. It's not going to be no help for them, man. You know. Let's go to Matthews 9, 11, and 13. Matthews 9, 11, and 13. This relates to the call of Matthew. And when the Pharisees saw it, they said unto his disciples, why eateth master with publicans and sinners? So he's questioning why eat with these individuals. But when Yahushua heard that, he said unto them, they that be whole need not a physician, but they that are sick. So the ones who are the ones who don't need a physician, he's not there for. He's only there for the ones who need a physician or are sick. 13. But go ye and learn what that meaneth. I will have mercy and not sacrifice, for I am not come to call the righteous, but sinners to repentance. So the righteous, he's there for the sick and the ones who need healing, the spiritual healing, man. And the ones that need to come back and to repent and come back and follow the ways. So that's who he's calling for, man. Let's go to Jeremiah 8 and 15. Jeremiah 8 and 15. Let's go to Jeremiah 8 and 15. This is going to be not a long lesson. Jeremiah 8 and 15. Jeremiah 8 and 15. We look for peace, but no good came. And for a time of health, behold trouble. So when they look for, now go with when they say peace and safety, the sudden destruction comes. So they were looking for that peace and safety. They were looking for that which is good, and that time of health. But only thing came was trouble. And more trouble and more trouble, uncertainty and more trouble coming upon. So when they said peace and safety, the sudden destruction comes, man. And I'm going to get that verse again. We'll read that. Let's read it again. We look for peace, but no good came. So when they look for peace, no good came. And that goes with when they say peace and safety, what? And the sudden destruction comes. So when they thought it was peace and safety and good was coming, only trouble and destruction was coming upon them, man. And we look for peace, but no good came, and for a time of health. And that remedy be that form of health. And behold, trouble. Instead of that remedy and health, trouble came. Let's go to 1 Thessalonians 5 and 3. 1 Thessalonians 5 and 3. 1 Thessalonians 5 and 3. For when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them, as a travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. So ultimately, when they're going to underestimate, they're going to think time is going to be somewhat normal again, peace and safety. But the destruction is going to come upon them, man. And it's going to come upon them unawares when they least expect it, man. Let's go to Ezekiel 7 and 25. Let's go to Ezekiel 7 and 25. Destruction cometh, and they shall seek peace, and there shall be none. So when they're seeking peace, destruction coming upon them, because what? When they seek peace and safety, what? Destruction is going to come upon them, man. When they say peace and safety, then destruction come upon them. So when they seek peace, Ezekiel 7:25, destruction cometh, and they shall seek peace, and there shall be none. So when they're going to seek peace, all they're going to find is destruction, trouble, anguish, and all kinds of calamities, man. And there should be none, man. And all these things are going to come upon these people unexpectedly, man, because they're not expecting certain things like this to happen. Go to 2 Chronicles 36 and 15. 2 Chronicles 36 and 15. (36 and 15). And the Lord Yahweh of their fathers sent to them by messengers, which are the prophets, rising up betimes and sending, because he had compassion on his people, which are the Israelites, and on his dwelling place. But they mocked the prophets, put that with 2 Peter 3 and 4. But they mocked the prophets of Yahweh and despised his words and misused the prophets until the wrath of the Lord arose against his people, until there was no remedy. And the history relating to the prophets and the nation of Israel is very volatile, very hostile, very volatile, man. The nation of Israel were a very rebellious, stiff-necked, rebellious, gainsaying people, man. And when the prophets try to tell them to do certain things, they never hearken and heed, man. And they cause all the nation of Israel to suffer, man, and fall because of that, man. And they pretty much killed the prophets, man. They came at the prophets because they didn't like what the prophets were saying, man. So that history between the prophets and nation Israel is very unstable, very volatile, man. But the prophets had to be rough with the nation of Israel through the spirit of Yahweh Shemir Shah, because through the spirit, they had to warn the nation of Israel to come back, man, or be consequences if not. So, but like I said, they. Yeah, I don't know. 7:15. All right. Shalakia. Shalakia on the interruption. (36 and 15). Let's read it again. And the Lord Yahweh of their fathers sent to them by his messenger, the prophets, rising up betimes and sending, because he had compassion on his people and on his dwelling place. But they mocked the messengers, which are the prophets of Yahweh, and despised his words. So they despised the words, man, through the spirit of Yahweh Shemir Shah, and misused his prophets. They misused his prophets. They abused the prophets, man. They were very, the nation of Israel were very brutal towards the prophets. For example, that Stephen, when they rushed him and he gave up the ghost, they stoned him, man. Until the wrath of the Lord arose against his people, until there was no remedy. So that was the consequence. Let's go to the Shalaki on that interruption again. Isaiah 65:13. Isaiah 65:13 and 14. Therefore thus saith the Lord Yahweh, behold, my servant shall eat, but ye shall be hungry, which are the others. Behold, my servant shall drink. Behold, my servant shall drink, but ye shall be thirsty. Behold, my servant shall rejoice, but ye shall be ashamed. And that relates to the other people. They're going to be ashamed and thirsty and hungry, man. But the prophet is going to be all right. Talk about verse talking about ones who laugh now no mourn later. So ones who are laughing now, for example, at the men of the Lord, because they're looked at as a spectacle or a gazing stock, as Scripture says, upon the people. Those same people are going to laugh. They're going to mourn later in those times, man. But the prophets are going to be good, the men of the Lord. Behold, my servant shall sing for joy of heart, but ye shall cry for sorrow of heart, and shall howl for vexation of spirit. That's the other people. More are going to perish than be saved. The ones who are going to perish, they're going to mourn. They're going to mourn. They're going to be in sorrow. They're going to be in hunger. They're going to be in vexation of the spirit. But the prophets of the Lord, they're going to be happy, rejoicing, pretty much laughing of these things that's to come, man. They're going to be in this. Basically, they're going to have a certain spirit on them, man. By Shem Yoshua, man. Go to Ecclesiasticus 3:28. Ecclesiasticus 3:28. Ecclesiasticus or Sirach 3:28. In the punishment of the proud, which are the wicked, there is no remedy. So there's no remedy, man, for the wicked, man, because their destiny is to be punished and judgment upon them, man, by Yahweh Shem Yoshua, man. Read that again. In the punishment of the proud, which is the wicked, there is no remedy. For the plant of wickedness have taken root in him. So they're rooted with wickedness, man. And they sprouted out in wickedness, man. The point is, the punishment of the proud. In the punishment of the proud, there's no remedy. There's no remedy for the punishment of the proud, the wicked, because ultimately they're set, their destiny, they're predestined and set for to be destroyed by Yahweh Shem Yoshua, man. Because they're that dishonored vessel, man. That Lord created for destruction, man. Fitted for destruction and created for destruction. Let's go to Proverbs 4:20. Proverbs 4:20. My son, attend to my words. Attend to my words relating to the scriptures. Basically, hearkening and taking heed to it, man. Listening to it and taking heed to it. My son, attend to my words. Incline thy ear to my sayings. These sayings relates to this Bible, man. Incline thy ear, hearken and heed to it. Do it, man. Last one. 2 Peter's 3:3-4. Knowing this, first, there shall come in the last days scoffers walking after their own lust, their desires, the scoffers and mockers. 4, and saying, where is the promise of his coming? For since the fathers fell asleep, all things continue as they were from the beginning of creation. So many people think nothing's going to happen. Things are going to continue as normal, even though the dynamic of society is changing. And there's no such thing as really normal or being normal, because this normal has disappeared a long time ago. Just look at the state of society, man. So normal's gone, you know. And this relates to also 2/3 who believe pretty much not. The scoffers are the mockers, who believe not, relating to certain things come to pass, you know. We'll read that last one again, number 4. And saying, where is the promise of his coming? So they mocking the messengers who are preaching his word. That goes with this misusing the prophets, not taking heed, man. Since the fathers fell asleep, all things continue. So they think all things continue as normal because they don't see nothing happening, man. Immediately happen. So they assume nothing's going to happen. And that's just pretty much the disbelievers. And the point is, the times that we're in, and I hope this helps. This is just a few verses, few scriptures. Hope this helps whoever listens. I want to give all praise to Yahweh, Bashim Yahshai, Bashim Rakakadash. This is Brother Zayab, which means wolf. The water for whoever listens. I hope it helps. Shalom. Thanks.